Kat Johan achtu yake satini. Ya yaki qone ya wahi we ENH shadenak ke wush kanach has with the art. Kachatsu has to in hat was sati. Ya yidat with the cut we eat the ka hasatin we shadenak. Gosh just dach nach gosh naski nach gosh dachoni nach. Ayukatangi ausaku kitcheni nach. Ya achtu yake hoa we a day away you has kawal at ganya yayagi adusa hayukatangi teen yukwatani. Konach away yet achu a ohan ake ha wutien hade hashu wuguk a joy hat kaudu asa. Heswasa o tikhoa Dukt'ootlʼ a da yejagachtuni. Shukwa gwashach to asagu yisatini. Tesh hot a yata yan kach yisikuke dasaway. Gleit kach inach yan kach.
Can you turn that way down?
Recording in progress.
Okay. Yan kach.
On the end of it?
I don't. Okay, so here's klesh a dark yan kach to the shet. And when I look for a yan kach, there's only one other place I could find it. And we'll get to what we're trying to do.
Can you close that curtain? It's
So here's the only other place. So we'll go look for this. So this is what happens when you do exercises like this. We're like, we're gonna go deeper than we've ever gone. So we're doing this with taka, which a bunch of us have studied a whole bunch. So here we say klesh gen kach tu chak. They are uncomfortable, ill at ease. So that I knew that from there. I know it's in Yen Kach Tla. I know somebody has that name. And then there's Yan Kut to shut, to make up someone's mind, right? And to shut is really interesting because it's like it grabs your mind, is what it sounds like to me. So there's Yan Kut. There's also Yan Kuk, I think, which is here. So Yan Kuk is genuine, true, truly. So this is interesting to me whenever we find stuff that's not fully documented, maybe. And okay, just now, what I like to do is go look for Yan Ka and see what kinds of things I might find and see if I can get close. So my computer tells me there's one in here. Oh, this is, sorry, it's the same one. It's from the Tanka story. Here's another example. Oh, with maybe some explanation to it from Zeosh. Chash shta yankach pastun detan awa on wuat dusi. And here we see yankach. Oh, so here's my example. So here's a bunch of examples. Could be to the shore. I think it means like really, maybe, I don't know, thoroughly. Yankatu wada. The tide is high. Anyways, put it in memory banks. Go look around. We left off around here. This is the fire would always be out. So, sheesh. And so, let's see, I'm gonna zoom in so you can't see on the other side. Can I get a reader?
Away gatat, away Kayaaní, ʼatudli.átk.
Sheesh. And what do we have here?
Is the gun in the second line related to going?
I think it has to do with. Oh, I think it's missing something.
Is that a purposive in the first line?
I think it sure is. So how would we translate it?
So it would be warm, or
Yeah, so qata, I think you'd say qata would be let it be warm. And then qatat, so it would be warm. And anything else in this part?
you want me to tell it how it really is, that next line, or?
Nora already said, we gotta get the then. So that's what the tle is doing. Awekatat, awetle. So it would be warm. Or maybe for warmth, I don't know. So it would be warm, I think. And now what do we have? This one this is a transitive. I'll be right about this one. I thought about it last class, and you guys were right. Gonna cheesh. If this were transitive, it would need that. And it doesn't have that. So good job. Wooch. Should we look it up? Have fun. Okay. Let me get to, wait, let me close.
The complex colors poster. The complex colors poster.
Oh, did you find it there?
Oh.
Do I have, sorry, I'm just aimlessly flipping through documents. Okay, hold on. Here, we'll start here. We're looking for llw. Oh, it's not in here, is it? That's right. They scrubbed it from our mouths. But who has it?
There.
Kayaaní. Now we'll go to L. We'll go to LO. And then we have llwch. Oh, there it says. There's urine. Llwch is pissing. Our llwch went pee. She at the llwch. Oh, they wet their bed. A cow llwch peed on it. Oh, that's got the ka on it. And then you've got ash'i llwch made them pee. I think the one we're looking for, I think we'll find it maybe here. Close your verbs. Okay. I think this is the one we've got. So, because if we come in and look back, so let's go back to here. So we have, well, no, we have ʼatudli.átk. So that is not the one we're looking for. Because, well, let's talk about why. So this, if we took it apart, what are all their little components? If we took out our little board game, what's the first thing we're looking for? We're going to pull this verb apart into all its pieces.
Sue.
No, it's the first thing. We are going to get to that, but let's go left to right.
Okay, you didn't say that.
Did I not say it? I said what's the first thing? Did I not say it? I thought about it.
Cool.
Which is made of
Maybe thematic preverb.
a thematic prefix.
Oh, one of those P words.
Yes.
We're talking about P anyway.
So to get to ku, there's two things gets us to ku.
The conjugator.
Okay, fine. Okay. So let's go to the letter habitual because it's got the ch at the end.
Oh,
But it does have a thematic prefix. And so if we go, oh, but it's got an L classifier. Is that right? Do I remember that right?
Mm-hmm.
L.
Ah, those are.
ʼatudli. Right? So that is, well, I guess you don't have it here because this doesn't include the object, sorry. So you would have ka, I gotta fix, there's no, oh yeah, zeros there. Yeah, that's correct. 0, L, CH at the end. Okay, so after looking at that, you have just seen the answer. Now what comes next?
Okay.
Ka.
The classifier.
L classifier.
Something before that and before that.
Oh, you're.
It 0 for the subject,
More, no, not yet, but that's
okay,
coming.
the object.
Well, the object is right here.
Oh, okay. So what's the 0? I know it's 0, but I don't know why.
Conjugation.
It's the conjugation.
It's the conjugation.
Oh, okay.
And now another 0. But there's colored versions out there too, which would be helpful. And then an L. It's probably an L, A, and then Wooch, and then the CH. So if we were playing the board game, we would grab the one that goes C, V, V, C, and then it has a tone. So why does that change to an L?
It's up against another L and Shinka doesn't like it.
You could do I always pee on it.
That's also cool.
Anybody?
Is it something to do with the distribution of vowels?
No.
Look at this.
Minus I.
Huh?
Oh, I was gonna say it's minus I in this mode.
That's part of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's the things. So this letter I, which pops up in sa, sha, and sha, just in those 3. The letter, did I say I? The letter A in those. Don't believe anything I say this evening. Wait, the letter A. This class is brought to you by the letter A. Okay.
No.
So ʼtla, sa, and sha. That letter A is very vulnerable. If the irialis, the perfective marker, qa or na, touch it, if it touches the classifier, it's going to drop its vowel. These guys do nothing to stop it. You never want these ones to put on your play defense in basketball. It's like, go ahead, go get them.
Okay, do they do nothing to stop it because there's zeros?
There are zeros.
Okay, not
There's
because,
nothing to hear. There's nothing to.
just because there's zeros, not because of the things that they are.
If I change it to that, then you're going to get a kachla.
Okay.
Yep. And every other, so if we go back to the conjugator too, it does show us that tla. Oh, it should be there. Oops. Okay, never mind. We gotta fix something. Khadi. Okay.
Page 509.
Come on, go back to. Let's go back to.
Verb database. Gunny. So isn't it noun T?
Oh, yeah. So this, I think our verb is in here. Ishashuch, akuchlechu, such. So then that tells us what's right before it. Or what's going on there anyways.
Onto the ashes.
Yeah, onto the place where the fire was. So he always pees on the. However we want to take care of the word over there.
It becomes long and high because of the T being put onto it.
Yes. Okay. So gun itid.
I'm gonna shush.
Itid. Yep. Okay. Ooh, fun. Let me make a note on the conjugator to fix some things.
There's a file on my computer.
Coming back, check the chat. Oh, how? Jeez.
Drop him when I feel like it.
The conjugation prefix, the classifier, okay. They're just in different spots. The classifier must always be there. But sometimes it's a zero, so it's not a nothing, but it's not a something, I guess. So I want to read. Will someone read this? Want to or not?
Away, kasad. Away, to.
Taich.
Okay, taich. We gun itinach.
Okay, sheesh. And what do we have? Do we know this one? Should we go look for it?
Is it related to kaseicha?
Maybe. I would say probably. But I don't know how. Where are we going to find this? Why is everything selected?
Is the G on it a relational, so it changed?
Oh. Okay, yeah, so this looks a lot like a verb, doesn't it? If this came from a verb, what might some of the parts in it be?
The S.
Be a sigh.
And then the
Sure.
So, if we don't see it in the dictionary, let's go to sigh and see if we find anything. I think I said earlier, chetko to a sigh. Saw, our sigh.
Hot or sweaty?
Heat, perspiration. Is that close to what we had? I think so. Let's go see if it's in here. Here's another place that we can look. I was looking for yen cook, but we're looking for kasai. Kasaija. Heat from fire, stove, or body. So I'm going to come back in. A little bit different. A kasaiji. But I would say that's probably the noun. There are probably just two different ways to get to nouns, I guess. So how might we interpret this? Yeah.
Steam.
Maybe it's. So we can, that's what the is here, right? And then that gets us to this. X'éig.
Him be warm.
Mm-hmm.
Ash being
Himself.
him.
Say it again.
Himself.
Well, that would be chush.
Yeah, just Ush though is just referring back to the main character here.
Yeah.
The one
So here, okay.
to Kaseiji. Where's the CH functioning there as?
It's a habitual.
Okay, so it is a habitual, even though it's acting as a verbal noun.
Yes. Which does happen. So there are other ones that you'll have a J on it. I just can't think of any right now.
Right, like I remember the rules of how things change.
Kaseja, sorry.
Exactly. Right, and then also like how things change if it ends in a J and then you go CHI and then.
Yeah, to the J.
I just wasn't familiar with putting a habitual on a verbal noun.
Yeah, it's not common. But there is also a CH that is repetitive, but I would expect K or Ye in the preverb.
Oh, goodness, sheesh.
I think you'd say Ye ashatch. They always grab it, or they grab it regularly. Wait, gun itinach.
They needed firewood. Or, no, that's a different gun.
It is a different itinach, but it's actually the same itinach.
Through the ashes.
Like
Because
the remains of the fire.
It's like, yeah, so it's not quite ashes. So it's more like, it depends, it's like where the fire was. Like in this context, the fire's out, but he goes up there and pees on it and it warms him back up. So that means fire's out, but it's still, so it could be charred, the charred spot where the fire is or was, I guess. And then it could also be just the warm sort of, It could be the glowing embers still. Depends on context. But it's just saying fire was there, but not there, not anymore. That's why you have gun it. And you do when you have et nach, going through the remains of. That is how you say needing something in Tlingit.
Needing like dough.
Atinachat yeti. I need it.
Oh, like I have been
Halfway.
not eating bread.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Needing, not needing.
I was baking before I got here.
Kajuch, that would be, I think it would be chuch. Kajuch would be massaging or kneading.
Mhm.
What is it? Kaduchu. I think it's the name. There's a name we gave for Plato. Next line.
Chu dudaye nati chweganda techi.
Cheesh. X'éig.
Dirtiness or dirt. Would you use this as an adjective, or is it
Well,
like a noun?
This is a noun right here. You would say Wooch, which could also mean shaded. Doesn't always mean dirty.
Okay, it also means what? Shaded?
There's shadows on it.
Oh,
Cake. Not you though, different. Dudaye na teach.
Could that be, oh, never mind, sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna ask if the ʼatudli could be used also for like when a guy's beard is coming out, but it's like his afternoon shadow.
Like the
in
stubble?
English, it's kind of, yeah.
Oh, like Cajun gouch.
Yeah, but I feel like, because it kind of is like a shadow in English, but does that transfer in Tlingit thought? Like, when
I
you
have
say
to
it-
ask. Like, I don't know if they really, because like there's so few bearded.
Ah,
I mean, that's not say they don't exist.
X'éig.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be the
Lock.
remains. Eat it.
Keeg. Rebecca said, "What's on your face, Uncle?" My husband shows his Sami his ancestry and has no beard.
Okay, so I'm gonna say ʼatudli is dirtiness, just because dirt is ʼatk. I don't want to confuse us. Dudaye teach, but I guess it could also be discolored.
Or discolored?
The Yena teach is how he always was.
Or slept.
He's always dirty.
Yes.
Mhm.
But what is the duda part?
Around him.
It's yeah.
Body?
Yes.
No?
His body.
And then you can say always that way or there. Could be dudaye teach. There's always dirt on his body is probably what I would.
So could you say like Yanik?
Yep.
Like my whole body is sick, like if you have like a body ache because of a fever or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like all the parts.
That should be your word of the day.
I got the word of the day on Friday. Okay. I found out today I got to do the word of the day on Friday.
Well, I found out that I have to do it tomorrow.
Oh.
So got any suggestions?
Part two, which should be cuisines and Kunane's word of the day.
I'm not doing that.
What Dukt'ootlʼ is always a good one. Courage. Dukt'ootlʼ, fortitude.
I like
Kayaaní.
do it.
On.
Yeah, but the
On
command
kindness.
be kind.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
ʼatudli.átk, you're precious.
Ooh. That maybe can be yours for your 15-minute word of the day with 200 delegates.
It's a subtle message. It's a subtle message.
I think you do a verb conjugation.
Are you trying to not get the meeting adjourned until 8 p.m.?
Yeet.
Well,
Don't be slow.
Mm.
I'll bring some kind of unity message. Fine, I'll do unity. Okay. This CH is an ergative marker.
Ooh. That was around the fire.
Yeah, around the fire.
That's a wet ergative.
It's marking who's doing the thing.
Oh.
And if
In
she,
this case, it's a shortcut way to say this is the thing that made him dirty.
Okay, well that makes a lot more sense. That made him dirty.
Which means we got to figure out X'éig or X'éig. You know that one? X'éig. Is it in here? Am I going to find it? I don't think it's this.
X'éig.
Let's go here.
Crooked?
Wait, there was a.
X'éig.
Not the same thing for like to like throw liquid, right? There's a bit of one.
No, X'éig, like that. Because we got X'éig is what we're looking for. I think it's something a little different than that. We got the X'éig. Okay, I kind of want to more into this. Okay, I wonder if I could find it.
is that he always slept?
Yeah, that could. Well, okay, we might be onto something now. Bum, bum, bum. Let's go to the verb database. Where'd I go? What happened? Welcome to the end of the semester, folks. Nobody knows what's gonna happen.
Your poor class tomorrow. Take. Ah.
We might have a winner.
You said the CH on that is ergative. Can you remind me? So ʼatudli.
Yeah, so what I think is going on here is I'm in the wrong story. So I think what we have here is we have ʼatudli. So if you say ganda ʼatudli, oops. So this says they regularly sleep by the fire. Right. Which in Tlingit, just to be honest, that's not a bad thing. Because it meant you had no status. Because like, you think of the house of a Tlingit, the top floor is the Anyadi floor. Next floor down, not quite Anyadi. Next floor down, pretty low status. Down by the fire, probably as low as you can get.
What would cause you to make you sleep by the fire?
People saying you got no standards. Being a slave, probably.
Or like an orphan nobody had adopted or to take care of or something.
Yeah. So what you kind of have here now, if you say techi, so like now this is sort of turning this into, I think, a noun. So like his sleeping by the fire. And then with the ch on the end is saying, this is what. So the other thing that ergative can do is be, and I don't even know if these are the right terms to use, I guess. So like the ch can be placed to mark repetitive and habitual things on verbs. But this is the repetitive marker right here, so you can't have two of them. So it's that sort of verb type of repetition stuff is all taken up. So when you put this onto a noun, it marks one of two things. Either the thing that's doing it or the thing that someone's doing it with. So you could say chach, I am the one who clubbed them on the head, even though I've conjugated in the verb as well. So I could say chach, I could say wa'ch, hooch. Hooch would be like putting it onto huh. And then you can also put it onto the thing. So like his sleeping around the fire made his body dirty all the time. That's what caused it. So it's like sort of like what causes it, what does it, or what someone does it with. Kind of depends on how it's being used. Good job spotting the.
So would that make it an indirect object marker?
It's sort of making it it's a subject of it's what causes it, but it's not a subject because like that thing can't take action. So it'd be sort of like, you hanging out down there is what's getting you into trouble. So it's like, it's this thing that's leading, it's a cause, it's more about causation than doing. Kind of, I guess.
So, because in my mind, I just want to say achaya or achawe because it's just easier for me. I already have those memorized. Is this kind of like, would you translate it or interpret it kind of the same, or?
So is it. It's a third person non-human pronoun. And if I put this same marker on there, which is humich, you get ach. So yes. So and this ch is sometimes sort of like because it's some of these things have like multiple uses and meanings, which is why like a single term, I don't know, it's just like when we do stuff like this, we just see how these things are used in these different ways. They're similar, but different. Good observation. Not too. Whoever's in your throat, go ahead and read. Sounds like you're getting ready. Or unless you're not ready. Somebody read this.
Awe ʼatudli.átk.
Okay, sheesh. Do we know what this is?
He did not.
Is the do dot a locative marker on his body?
It could be, but in this case,
It's around.
just about.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's away.
I was thinking no one about that man thought.
Okay. Let's try the book of themes. Okay, here we are with our million T verbs. We're looking for something with N, da, and then tu, T. Looking for something like that. Tu, chan, ke, ga, hu. Oh.
Wait,
Oh.
And da. There's
Okay, so we do have it. There is, this is another one of these verbs where there is an SH version, right? So for example, I could say, Ida ʼatudli.átk. I care about you. How nice. What is the opposite of that? Ida ʼatudli.átk.
I don't care about you.
Is correct.
I couldn't care less.
It's bad. So now, if our object pronoun is ka, now what do we got?
They didn't care about that person.
Nobody cared about him.
Is this phrase related to Tlef Shtuga Chat Ushte?
It's a similar thing. So if you say shtuqa khatati, I am grateful for it. But if you say tlef shtuqa khat ushte, I don't know what the opposite of grateful was. But when this was translated for me, someone said, piss on that, I don't care. So, and they laughed. And it was all fun, it was funny, nobody got injured. But be careful with phrases like this, because this is a sad thing. Like he sleeps by the fire, he bathes by himself. Like the whole crux of this story, I think, like the big sort of thing that this hinges on is that an uncle didn't take care of his nephew, to the point where he aligned with his other nephews to all make fun of him. That's why he died, if you ask me.
Clenach yati Dukt'ootlʼ Ishandain ashta tuati.
Okay, sheesh.
Is that once? Oh, that's a whole.
Kayaaní.
Yeah, isn't it like one person?
Yes.
One person.
Okay, so
Is
One person in a while?
Only one?
yeah, like
One person.
only his uncle's wife pitied him.
oh. Ishande. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, this is a similar verb to this one. Ishandain idachatuati. I have pity for you. And that means compassion, right? So we think about Ishan and Ishandain and stuff. We have to think this is more than, because Ishan is used so much for teasing and for just being like kind of pathetic, that we also have to remember, like, this is at the core of both suffering and compassion and pity. Okay.
Owe ya atcha du chayde du chaych atich.
Sheesh. Let's do the top line.
It'd be like, this food, and then it's an arrow tip, right? Or is it a verb?
There's no verb yet.
Okay. Or is it both of? Towards his mouth.
Right.
Repeatedly towards his mouth.
He's fed.
Yes. She feeds him. So I do. No, I guess I don't have that one in there. But Dukt'ootlʼ would be feed it to them. So you do have the t carrying verb. Then you usually have X'éig. So how would we translate this? It's very repetitive. Because you could say Dukt'ootlʼ.
She always fed him.
It's a little awkward in the English to kind of double it up like that. But the Wooch is saying like all the time. And then Dukt'ootlʼ is saying to regularly. Like, yeah, I feed the dog. Like, I feed it all the time, right?
So you can do both the Wooch and the regular repetitive verb.
Yeah. So this is saying, like, she did it regularly and she did it all the time.
Okay.
We do wach shoot an ti nuch kwa. We do wach shoot an ti nuch kwa. Her husband, out of his sight, she would do it always, but however,
so the with it part, I think, is referring back to this verb that we just talked about.
okay.
So it's really interesting because it's not like a thing, but you could maybe make the argument that it is the food, maybe. And this is ʼatudli.átk. She to carry something around to so on ʼatudli.átk.
And Kayaaní, what's the shoot? How does that work?
Yeah, so let's go look for Wooch. And we'll go maybe it's here. To avoid being seen, to hide what one is doing. And so the Wooch, it's sort of like X'éig. It likes to have sort of a suffix there, like some sort of directional suffix there. So when you put T on here, it pushes it long, but I do think it stays high.
Okay. Cheese.
Shoot out the uk or at the ak. That's atja.
Oh, I was just gonna ask because I've noticed that there's a lot of different repetitive markers, and I was just curious if that T was another repetitive marker. Like it's always out of his sight.
It's to be located at, because if you were to do, like it shows us right here, because you could say Dukt'ootlʼ to their mouth, but do right here X'éig repeatedly there, right? Or moving around at the mouth. So in this case, Wooch. But then it doesn't have to be, because to be sort of, it's more of a concept than an actual place. So the concept here is she would be careful not to be seen doing this. So then that just sort of, you only get the directional T because it's sort of a concept, more of like coming back to this same physical location. Ooh, a nice long sentence.
Awe wa ye kunayat sawe ute akaudahu nuch hu kwawe tlenach hint ai wakus art jid wetle duch enach pe jinuch.
There's a lot in there.
I always get really lost because doing my transcription and translation recently, it's really hard to figure out what's a full sentence.
Mhm.
Or, you know, in the English, I always thought it'd be like, this is a sentence. And then I've talked to a couple speakers and they're like, actually, it's like these whole 3 or 4 lines are the single sentence.
I've done English transcriptions of interviews I conducted for research, and it's almost just as hard to actually figure out where the sentence ends too. Doing like hour-long transcriptions of interviews. And I was the one interviewing them. I still didn't know where my or their sentences ended half the time.
Okay. Sheesh.
So you're doing good. Duh.
Sheesh.
Wa ye kunayat sawe. You raising your hand?
Didn't we see Kuniyat earlier?
Isn't that for how long something is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like it's so long. Usually you say yat would be it's long.
Would it be kind of like how long that is, or how long?
Yeah, and then you also have kunayat. So
And then it has that yay in front of it.
right, with sa. So there's a set of kind of narrative devices, I guess. Sort of like wanani sawe. Wa ye kunayat sawe. Yeah, maya ti like sometimes. And you just gotta, and some of them, when they strike a certain combination, you just gotta remember what those ones are. And so they have this one as like after a period of time. So wa ye kunayat sawe. There's different ways to interpret some of these things, right? So for example, can't send them clicking this thing away. Okay, there it is. So I can say, oops. Got Cassier on me. Yeah, hold on. Okay. I just had to shut it down. Sorry about that. So, like maybe a similar example to this is you could say, and how could we interpret this? Just if someone just said that to you, just with nothing else.
What days?
Is it? No.
Or how many days? What is it?
So it's like a question.
Mhm.
But if I were to sort of attach this to some other sort of thing conceptually, so I might say they went out boating, ʼatudli.átk. And then I might say ʼatudli.átk. They went to an island. Ye hasbuti. They were there. Kun yagisa. Aqa. What am I doing? Okay. It's an experiment in exhaustion. Okay. ʼatudli.átk. Aye hasbuti. Kun yagisa. Aqa hasbuti. So here we have, they were boating around. They boated to an island. They were there for many days. And then they came back. So in other instances, it's just sort of saying like for an unspecified amount of time. It kind of depends. It's like sort of like dasa, it could do the same thing. Like we see examples of this where they'll say atlein atdugu, ayewuti, qaqdugu, qujdugu, nuskdugu, dasa. So they'll say there were a bunch of furs there. There was, what did I say? Wolf hides and whatever hides thy name. And then he said, and whatever, right? So it just sort of, it has those kinds of ways of doing it. So, wa ye kunayat sawe. So you could say after some time. I think that works. At some, so it had gotten to some length. You don't really have the time marker in there, but Chitle ak de hu nooch. Hukwa. Is that a new verb for us? Ak de hu. Let's go here. We'll look for who. So here's swimming, wading. I don't know. I don't see a ka and I don't see a D classifier in there. So, deeper dive.
There.
Here. So here's who. Same one, wading, swimming. To say, and this isn't just to say who, right? This is where you need the cultural context for this. What does this sound like? Anybody know?
Huh?
Animal, it sounds like.
It's a person who makes this sound.
Person makes the sound.
Doesn't sound like an owl.
Person that makes a sound.
Hoot.
This is what it sounds like. Hoo! That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what
That is the sound that Tlingit people made when they were going through incredible pain or suffering. And there's a verb for it. And it's a sound that you make to deal with pain. I tried to get my kids to do this. They wouldn't believe me. But that's what they did. And so he would do that in the water, and he would do that at certain times as well. And I think you could probably say like little short ones as well. Hoo, hoo. But it has to do with like relieving your suffering. There was also specific sounds that they made when they were dying.
I've heard Cyril George in a transcription video that we're working on say like ho, but it's not so much you, it's more so
Yeah.
And is that like they were saying it's just like a natural kind of like
For him it's like, oh my.
Oh my, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was smiling. It wasn't like
Duh, right? There's something
yeah,
like
yeah. Cool.
Just then he would cry out. Whew. Or I guess he would
Always?
Yeah.
always. And then we got him though. Ooh, Kay nach hint. Ye. I don't know why it wouldn't be this. But I don't know.
Yeah. I put one
Oh,
person.
I know. Okay, never mind.
One person sat at the water. Or I always want to say a certain person because of Inyasahash, but or a certain man. But there's no ka in there.
Well,
And that T is a
Locative.
directional, right? The locative.
So this is okay. Here's my estimation on what's going on here, and this stuff is fun, but it's also like welcome to the limit of what I know. So, this is a verb, and how would we translate this verb?
Going into the water?
Not quite.
Sitting by the water.
Yes, but we need a subject.
Oh.
And it's not by.
Sitting in the water.
They are sitting in the water. It's a positional verb. So you could, in this case, I do think you have hint ye. And this is a similar thing that you'll see, I think, like this, right? So you could say ye, yati, right?
Mhm.
And I think you could say like yak-a, ye, ti.
Ooh.
That's the subordinate form in an imperfective. And I don't really know how to do it, but I usually know it when I see it sometimes. That, when, you know, so it's good that it's that way, I guess, right? Yak-a-ye-ti. So here I would say when he's sitting in the water.
Am I getting it mixed up? Isn't it I like mine? That's mine.
Yes, but I do think it's a different thing. So this is I think this is a subordinate form of the verb. Because you would have to have du or ach, or you'd have to have some sort of relational pronoun there. And you also have hint, which means this is probably the positional verb. Because you'll say kayaaní kat ah. They're sitting on a chair. Daak kat ah. Gaudan kat ah.
And then you have the alone part, ʼtle'na.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
When he's sitting in the water alone. Kusaat jeet.
Cold,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the noun
The
form.
coldness, the
The
coldness,
cold water? I
yeah,
don't know what.
the coldness
Oh,
because
okay.
of the cold water, or from the cold water, yeah.
Oh,
So they could also say like located in the possession of coldness. In the grip of coldness, maybe. I don't know. You know, kinds
I
of.
like that.
Okay, we're gonna. The heads were nodding.
Mhm. It's the poet coming out.
Yes, the four.
Just to overdo it, just for fun.
Incredibly poetic.
Wait do ʼénach céichnuch. Wait.
The same ʼchéinach as language or speaking.
It can be.
From his mouth.
Yeah, through his mouth.
Mm. Okay.
It can be, like there are a lot of situations where if you say some sort of nationality right before it, like deki nachenach in either language, English chenach, you'd say that, German chenach, Tlingit chenach. But in this, we said du chenach, through their mouth.
Then through their mouth.
Sonny,
Ah,
I have a question.
ah,
We were watching a video and this lady or man, instead of saying late ka or slinket keinach, skipped and said slinket nach again and again and again.
wow. Human through, I guess.
Well, using it for the meaning of late ka keinach.
With Tlingit nach.
Yes, instead of slinket keinach, she kept saying slinket nach.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard that before. That's really interesting.
And
Because
I've been using it thinking, you told us long ago, elders are always right.
yeah, right. I mean, if someone's saying it, then yeah, there's people who know a lot more than I do. So, but yeah, I'd have to check. I could check. Like I could check with some speakers too and see if they've heard that too.
And if I come across that video again, I'll write down where I found it.
Okay. Cheesh.
Did they, Shanagate, did they use the same thing for Kayaaní?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't heard that before. That's wild. Okay. Cheesh.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe I've just been using ʼatudli.átk myself. At any rate, we need to find that video because I like that shortcut and I like saying it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say it in public in front of a bunch of elders that think I'm nuts.
Well, if it ends up coming off like this, then it's like over the snow or along the snow, right? And so, yeah, it's gonna have to be ʼatudli.átk. So you have to keep it that ka on there. X'éig. Huh, wow. Interesting. Dash atja.
Oh, it just kind of reminds me of I think it was William Johnson or Jimmy Johnson when he says click. He doesn't say enough or anything. He just says like however.
Right.
Right. He says he's talking about kohak. Kohak, you do us all click cheese.
That's right. Yeah, where it doesn't even need like the kayaaní or the nach at all. Okay. Kehichtenuch.
Two of those repetitives, the G.
Yeah. Loves these.
Rise up, always. Rise up.
So let's go look for he.
Right, I was like, is this another instance of him like dropping everything before the verb root and just doing the verb root? Ooh. What happens to that?
It says, well, in a repetitive, you couldn't have the plus I form.
Okay.
So they just marked zero classifier as ya. So then sometimes you'll see ya, which I think is right there. Ya, he.
Okay.
Ya, zero, he.
Okay, so in the story Naish, it's
Yeah, so it's like it comes up through his mouth, I guess, all the time.
So he's always making that sound of grieving.
Yeah. Which is wild. Like I just think it gets. I mean, I love their work. They're so amazing. And I think also we get such depth of these stories by like doing this slow crawl.
Well, I think this whole process is very helpful to us because it's how we, hopefully would be doing it by ourselves, but with guidance.
Yeah.
Geez.
We got to do 9 pages in 2 days, so let's see what happens. Okay, somebody read this.
Wananisawe su Wooch uhint aye owe ya Dukt'ootlʼ au du watan.
Sheesh.
It starts off at some point.
So Wooch uhint aye owe.
He's sitting in the water again.
Crying.
Nach. To eat or to watan.
Back. Oh,
He heard a voice behind him.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Speaking to him.
Yes. So here, upland from him. It is behind him, right? But like this ʼatk, upland from it. It is behind, but the perspective is, I guess, if you're on the beach. So it means further upland from. So he's in the water, so this is one way you could say from the shore. Dukt'ootlʼ. We say he heard it, yes. But what is the language telling us right there?
Someone said to him.
Yeah, an unknown person said something to him.
Spoke to him. Yeah, oh well. We get our first. Oh, somebody read it. No, I'll tell you what we get our first. Maybe it's our first.
Hot.
Who?
Go ahead.
You aware ush. Yeah, was ka. Wait, ka.
Ah, cheese. Hot huh. Oops, I hide the English. It's a different huh than the other huh that we just did.
He said, they said, hot huh.
Come here.
And how are you going to come here?
Waiting.
Or dog paddle. You get a pick. Dog paddle or wade. It's for the humans to wade, for anything else to dog paddle. Anything to dog paddle. So hot huh. You could say that to a dog in the water. They don't touch. They don't.
Is that the same for a deer then?
Yes, I think so.
Moose,
Yeah.
bear. Okay.
Because they're not going like this, right?
So is any like non-human or can a human?
Anything that is dog paddle type swimming. I guess would be the way to think about it in English. Me, all the time, anytime.
And I know there's a bunch of different ways to talk about swimming, but we would talk about like a frog swimming differently, right?
Or duck.
Yeah, well, the duck has ʼatudli', which is they're tiny paddling. I don't know how to say it in English. And they're just like going like a little.
Right. But a fish.
A fish will go wooch or wooch. So underwater swimming. And then you've got popping your head up, yauta'a, you're gonna see. You've got, yeah, there's several. Okay, we're not gonna do them all. What? Okay, you away ash yauska. What ka? Let's translate it and then we'll come back and see what is going on with this verb.
Is it like he yelled at the man?
No.
Or the man yelled?
There's no yelling here.
The ka verb, right?
Yeah. The man said to him. What's unusual about this?
There's no I.
That's right. Henya Tlingit will drop an I in a classifier. Like you guys say yausaka, ash yausaka, boring. We don't got time for that. Ash yauska. Just dropping the plus I from a classifier. Unheard of. Okay, but that's henya tlingit, right? Like I was just talking to someone today about wanting to bring it back. Like we really need to study. Because look at, he does it again. A'tudli. Somebody read this.
ʼatudli.
ʼatudli. That is a, what is that? How would we say that right here?
ʼatudli.
Yeah. ʼatudli. We'd say ʼatudli. But for this does not contract. Instead, it knocks the I out of dli, which gives you a TL classifier. Thank you. Good night. That's it. Game over.
Is that because of the Henya dialect?
Yes, they're the only ones I think that would do that.
Yeah, I couldn't
Have a
figure that one
TL.
out. I was like,
ʼatudli.
So for Henyak Xinga, is there only certain words that they drop that I, or is it really common for them to? Okay.
I don't know. This is something that someone would have to like study and see.
Another dissertation idea.
Yes, whoever's ready for that. I guess we need a class that's just like, okay, you just go away for 3 months and come back and tell me what you found out about this thing. But ʻatudli.
starting my master's in linguistics. So that might be nice.
Okay. Oh, and how do we gotta translate that. It's our key to go home.
Raven. Can't me translate? Yeah.
Go. No pressure. We'd all love to go home.
I think some of us might need to go home.
It.
Would the verb root be pin or keen?
We would look up qeen.
I'm on my phone. It'll take me a second.
Wrinkle?
We'll look for a DL classifier. Underline G.
Underline G. G. It sounds familiar. I just can't remember.
Just take a look at this. I'm sorry. A little too enthusiastic. Look at it. Okay.
I will remind you, you're supposed to partner up today for our final.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Is everybody ready? Sorry. We had like a 9-hour meeting today.
You did.
Ready for the partner out?
Is everybody ready for their final?
Shake.
Is it right now?
Yeah, you ducked.
You ducked.
You got 12 whole days. No, you have 2 weeks. You have 2.
Yeah, you ducked.
I have no mercy. I have lots of mercy, but I also have high expectations.
Right.
Those balance out.
It's May 1st, right?
Yes, 2 weeks from today. No need to panic.
Transcription too.
Oh yeah, and then the transcribe is.
And then those
Yeah,
all
Sam Johnson.
you got for us.
Oh yeah, there's 10 more sentences.
Oh, do you guys have 10
write them.
Oh, that's right.
Renee did. I knew nothing about it.
We'll see how much we get done. It doesn't, the truth is, whatever we do is good enough.
We're doing the thing.
But you also don't, it's not like you need to write, okay. What if everybody in here wrote a 20-sentence dialogue that's not going to, you're not going to be going, whoo, because you're writing a 20-sentence dialogue, right? But you don't have to, you could just do it on your own. And then we just read it in pairs on the day of the final. So it's not, I don't want to press you into feeling like you got to go find someone to work with in order to be successful. Does that make sense? Is that workable?
That's what I thought the assignment was.
Yeah, so it's not impossible. I believe you will succeed. But also I will hear legitimate concerns, and I will be teach.
Stuk anaidahin.
It's just like Raven. He's like, I'll give you encouragement. He's like, everything hurts. Just stand it.
Mi motto and Donna Walk are gonna meet up at Heritage around 2 o'clock to do the dialogue. And we're at 2 o'clock. And our plan was we're just gonna start it with, what do you want to talk about in English? And then we're all gonna take turns saying this is specifically what and kind of how we want to talk about it. And I think that'll fill up our dialogue really quick. But if anybody wants to come and work with us, Heritage, 2 o'clock downtown.
Sheesh. We have 3 classes left in here. Contact me if you need some help. Everybody's gonna do just fine. Nobody fails. Everybody does the thing and does awesome, and it's gonna be fun. I think.
What day does that, Jeff?
Kisa.
Saturday, Heritage downtown at 2 o'clock. And then me and Liz are gonna be on at 1 via Zoom, just to work on some transcriptions if you guys want to just sit in and see what we're doing.
That is also on Saturday?
Yeah, so I'll be at Heritage at 1, and I'll be logged in on the Zoom study room at 1 to about 3:30.
Sounds like we need a Tlingit working area downtown.
Ah.
Now,
Yeah,
it's on the record. I told them when that bank moved out of that one building, I said, you guys should just build a Tlingit language space where we could just be at and work and talk the language. And now it's
But guess who just bought that bank building?
Right.
Asa.
Yeah. Obelt.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Uh-huh.
That way we could just, because a coffee shop is great, but it's also like you're gonna be surrounded by English, and you're gonna be like,
And I also want to be able to record.
right?
Yeah, and that's my biggest problem there. Background noise via Zoom. Yeah, but they're not open on Saturdays that late.
Oh, Ishan.
Yeah, I tried that.
Library?
Yeah,
Well, we were also talking about going outside since it's sunny. So that's always an option too.
Yeah,
Be careful.
Well, you could always use the housing authority.
Jackie,
Goodness
we
gosh.
have to have dance practice. Stop giving away our space.
That's in the morning. That's not like later.
We might need longer dance practices, but that's another thing.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And the cheese. Siagin.
Sheesh.
Goodness, geez.
As we log off of our last meeting.